Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books right here in the Haven, Hive, UK. Krishna's pastimes, Lord Chaitanya's teachings. These are the greatest gifts that has ever been given to the human society. And we are so fortunate to be able to get together every night and hear them together and appreciate and talk about them and appreciate one another. This is the real panacea from the suffering condition of material life. The most powerful spiritual ambrosia. The holy name of Krishna, the Mahamantra, and the glories of the Lord and the glories of His holy name, the glories of His pastimes and of His everything about Him. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had the Caitanya-caritämrta was his life and soul, as it was for Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada. I know I'm saying this every night the same, but it's so tasty I can't stop. He had this to say: in due course, Mahapralaya, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or, if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam, but under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta, for if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage, because after the flood has subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, we've reached 21st chapter of Madhya-lila, and Lord Chaitanya is continuing his instructions to Sanatana Goswami, and now he's talking about the actual position of the material and spiritual worlds. We're beginning with text 55. Lord Chaitanya is speaking. The spiritual world is considered to be 3/4 of the energy and opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas this material world is only 1/4 of that energy. That is our understanding. Purport. Haridama, Paravyoma. Haridam, or Paravyoma, and Goloka Vrindavan are beyond the material cosmic manifestation. They are celebrated as 3/4 of the Lord's energy. The material world conducted by the Supreme Lord's external energy is called Devidam and is a manifestation of 1/4 of His energy. 56. Because it exists of 3/4 of the Lord's energy, the spiritual world is called Tripad Bhuta, being a manifestation of 1/4 of the Lord's energy. The material world is called ekapad. Purport. This verse is found in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.5.563. Text 56. The 3/4 part of the Lord Krishna's energy is beyond our speaking power. Let us therefore hear elaborately about the remaining 1/4 of his energy. Text 58. Actually, it is very difficult to ascertain the number of universes. Each universe has its separate Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, who are known as permanent governors. Therefore, there is also no counting them. Purport. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are called Chira Loka Pala, permanent governors. This means that they govern the affairs of the universe from the beginning of the creation to the end. In the next creation, the same living entities may not be present, but because Brahma and Shiva are existing from the beginning to the end, they are called Chira Loka Pala, permanent governors. Lokapala means predominating deities. There are 8 predominating deities of the prominent heavenly planets, and they are Indra, Agni, Yama, Varuna, Niriti, Vayu, Kuvera, and Shiva. Text 59. Once, when Krishna was ruling Dwarka, Lord Brahma came to see him, and the doorman immediately informed Lord Krishna of Brahma's arrival. 60. When Krishna was so informed, he immediately asked the doorman, "Which Brahma? What is his name?" The doorman therefore returned and questioned Lord Brahma. Purport. From this verse we can understand that Brahma is the name of the post, and that the person occupying the post has a particular name also. From the Bhagavad Gita, Imam Vivasvate Yogam, Vivaswan is the name of the present predominating deity of the sun. He is generally called Surya, the sun god, but he also has his own particular name. The governor of the state is generally called Rajapala, but he also has his own individual name. Since there are hundreds and thousands of Brahmas with different names, Krishna wanted to know which of them had come to see him. 61. When the doorman asked, "Which Brahma?" Brahma was surprised. He told the doorman, "Please go inform Lord Krishna that I am the 4-headed Brahma, who is the father of the 4 Kumaras." Text 62. The doorman then informed Lord Krishna of Lord Brahma's description, and Lord Krishna gave him permission to enter. The doorman escorted Lord Brahma in, and as soon as Brahma saw Lord Krishna, he offered obeisances at his lotus feet. 63. After being worshipped by Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna also honored him with suitable words. Then Lord Krishna asked him, "Why have you come here?" 64. Being questioned, Lord Brahma immediately replied, "Later I shall tell you why I have come. First of all, there is a doubt in my mind, which I wish you would kindly dissipate." 65. Why did you inquire which Brahma had come to see you? What was the purpose of such an inquiry? Is there any other Brahma besides me within this universe? Text 66. Upon hearing this, Sri Krishna smiled and immediately meditated. Unlimited Brahmas arrived instantly. These Brahmas had different numbers of heads. Some had 10 heads, some 20, some 100, some 1,000, some 10,000, some 100,000, some 10 million, and others 100 million. No one can count the number of faces they had. Text 68. There also arrived many Shivas with various heads, numbering 100,000 and 10 million. Many Indras also arrived, and they had hundreds of thousands of eyes all over their bodies. Purport. It is said that Indra, the king of heaven, is very lusty. Once he had sexual intercourse with the wife of a great sage, and when the sage learned about this, he cursed lusty Indra with a curse that put vaginas all over his body. Being very much ashamed, Indra fell down at the lotus feet of the great sage and begged his pardon. Being compassionate, the sage turned the vaginas into eyes. Therefore Indra possesses hundreds and thousands of eyes all over his body. Just as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva have many faces, the king of heaven, Indra, has many eyes. Text 69. When the four-headed Brahma of this universe saw all these opulences of Krishna, he became very much bewildered and considered himself a rabbit among many elephants. Text 70. All the Brahmas who came to see Krishna offered their respects to his lotus feet, and when they did this, their helmets touched his lotus feet. Text 71. No one can estimate the inconceivable potency of Krishna. All the Brahmas who were there were resting in one body of Krishna. Now, let us make a point here, shall we? When we say hear the Shastras, it means hear, to hear with faith, with love, and without argument. And if you can hear these things and accept them for what they are, that they actually happened, because the mind, especially this pastime, is very 10 million heads. How could you even get in the room? This is what the mind tells us. But if we can hear them, just hear them, and this is what hearing means. It means to hear with rapt attention. It means to hear without doubt, without confusion. And then when you do that, your mind becomes expanded and purified. And then everything makes sense. Krishna's pastimes are inconceivable. Krishna is inconceivable. His energies are inconceivable. Text 72. When all the helmets struck together at Krishna's lotus feet, there was a tumultuous sound. It appeared that the helmets themselves were offering prayers unto Lord Krishna's lotus feet. 73. With folded hands, all the Brahmas and Shivas began to offer prayers unto Lord Krishna, saying, O Lord, you have shown me a great favor. I have been able to see your lotus feet. 74. All of them then said, it is my great fortune, Lord, that you have called me, thinking of me as your servant. Now, let me know what your order is, so that I may carry it on my heads. 75. Lord Krishna replied, since I wanted to see all of you together, I have called all of you here. 76. All of you should be happy. Is there any fear from the demons? They replied, by your mercy, we are victorious everywhere. 77. Whatever burden was upon the earth, you have taken away by descending to that planet. 78. This is the proof of Dwarka's opulence. All the Brahmas thought, Krishna is now staying in my jurisdiction. 79. Thus the opulence of Dwarka was perceived by each and every one of them. Although they were all assembled together, no one could see anyone but himself. Shall I read that again? Thus the opulence of Dwarka was perceived by each and every one of them. Although they were all assembled together, no one could see anyone but himself. In other words, each one of them thought they were alone with Krishna. That's Krishna. That's his energy. Purport: the power of Yogamaya. The four-headed Brahma perceived the opulence of Dwarkadam, where Krishna was staying. And although there were Brahmas present, having 10 to 10 million heads, and although many Lord Shivas were also assembled, only the four-headed Brahma of this universe could see all of them. By the inconceivable potency of Krishna, the others could not see one another. Although all the Brahmas and Shivas were assembled together, due to Krishna's energy, they could not meet or talk among themselves individually. Text 80. Lord Krishna then bade farewell to all the Brahmas there, and after offering their obeisances, they all returned to their respective homes. Text 81. After observing all these opulences, the four-headed Brahma of this universe was astonished. He again came before the lotus feet of Krishna and offered him obeisances. 82. Brahma then said, "Whatever I formerly decided about my knowledge, I have just now had personally verified." 83. There are people who say, "I know everything about Krishna." Let them think that way. Let them think in that way. As far as I'm concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. O my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulences are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body, and words. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.38, spoken by Lord Brahma. 84. Krishna said, "Your particular universe has a diameter of 4 billion miles. Therefore, it is the smallest of all the universes. Consequently, you have only 4 heads." Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one of the great astrologers of his time, gives information from the Siddhanta Shiromani that this universe measures million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, 18 quadrillion, 712 trillion, 69 billion, 200 million times 8 miles. This is the circumference of this universe. According to some, this is only half the circumference. So we're going to try to figure this out, right? With our own intelligence, with our own mind. We're going to decide what's right and what's wrong. Text 85. Some of the universes are 1 billion yojanas in diameter, some 1 trillion, some 10 trillion, and some 100 trillion yojanas. Thus, they are almost unlimited in area. Purport. A yojana equals 8 miles. 86. According to the size of the universe, there are so many heads on the body of Brahma. In this way, I maintain innumerable universes, Brahmandas. 87. No one can measure the length and breadth of the 1/4 of my energy manifested in the material world. Who then can measure the 3/4 that is manifested in the spiritual world? 88. Beyond the river Viraja is the spiritual nature, which is indestructible, eternal, inexhaustible, and unlimited. It is the supreme abode, consisting of 3/4 of the Lord's opulences, It is known as Parabyoma, the spiritual sky. Purport. This is a verse from the Padma Purana, quoted here by Lord Krishna. Text 89. In this way, Lord Krishna bade farewell to the four-headed Brahma of this universe. We may thus understand that no one can calculate the extent of Krishna's energies. Text 90. There is a very deep meaning in the word Trayadishwara. Trayadishwara, which indicates that Krishna possesses three different lokas, or natures. Purport. The word Trayadishwara means proprietor of the three worlds. There are three worlds, and Krishna is the supreme proprietor of all of them, of them all. This is explained by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 5.29. Bhokdadam yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richchati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. The word Sarvaloka means all three worlds, and the word Maheshwara means the supreme proprietor. Krishna is the proprietor of both the material and the spiritual world. The spiritual world is divided into two portions, Goloka Vrindavan and the Vaikunthas. The material world is a combination of universes unlimited in number. Text 91. The three lokas are Gokula or Goloka, Mathura, and Dwarka. Krishna lives eternally in these three places. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that in the Goloka planet there are three divisions, Gokula, Mathura, and Dwarka. In his incarnation as Gaurasundar, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord conducts his pastimes in three areas, Navadvip, Jagannath Puri, and South India, and Brajmandala, the area of Vrindavan Dham. Text 92. These three places are full of internal potencies, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is their sole proprietor. 93 and 94. As previously mentioned, the jewels on the helmets of all the predominating deities of all the universes and Vaikuntha planets touched the throne and the lotus feet of the Lord when those deities all offered obeisances. 95. When the gems on the helmets of all the predominating deities collided before the throne and the Lord's lotus feet, there was a jingling sound which seemed like prayers offered by the helmets at Krishna's lotus feet. 96. Krishna is thus situated eternally in his spiritual potency, and the opulence of that spiritual potency is called Shat Aishwarya, indicating 6 kinds of opulences. Text 97. Because he possesses the spiritual potencies which fulfill all his desires, Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the Vedic version. Text 98. The unlimited potencies of Krishna are just like an ocean of nectar. Since one cannot bathe within that ocean, I have only touched a drop of it. 99. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was describing the opulences and spiritual potencies of Krishna in this way, there was an awakening of love of Krishna within him. His mind became immersed in the sweetness of conjugal love, and he quoted the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. To exhibit the strength of his own spiritual potency, Lord Krishna manifested a form just suitable for his pastimes in the material world. This form was wonderful even for him, and was the supreme abode of the wealth of good fortune. Its limbs were so beautiful that they increased the beauty of the ornaments worn on different parts of his body. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 3:2-12 is stated in a conversation between Vidura and Uddhava. Uddhava thus begins his description of the pastimes of Sri Krishna in his form exhibited by Yogamaya. Text 101. Lord Krishna has many pastimes, of which his pastimes as a human being are the best. His form as a human being is the supreme transcendental form. In this form he is a cowherd boy. He carries a flute in his hand, and his youth is new. He is also an expert dancer. All this is just suitable for his pastimes as a human being. Text 102. My dear Sanatan, the sweet, attractive, transcendental form of Krishna is so nice. Just try to understand it. Even a fractional understanding of Krishna's beauty can merge all three worlds in the ocean of love. He attracts all living entities within the three worlds. 103. The transcendental form of Krishna is shown to the world by Lord Krishna's internal spiritual energy, which is a transformation of pure goodness. This jewel-like form is the most confidential treasure of the devotees. This form is manifested from Krishna's eternal pastimes. 104. The wonderful form of Krishna in his personal feature is so great that it attracts even Krishna to taste his own association. Indeed, Krishna becomes very eager to taste it. Total beauty, knowledge, wealth, strength, fame, and renunciation are the 6 opulences of Krishna. He is eternally situated in his opulences. Purport. Krishna has many pastimes, of which his pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan, the Gokula-lila, are supreme. He also has pastimes in the Vaikunthas, the spiritual world, as Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. In his pastimes in the spiritual sky, he lies down in the causal ocean as Karanarnavashayi, the Purusha Avatara. His incarnations as a fish, tortoise, and so on are called his causal incarnations, or incarnations for particular occasions. He incarnates in the modes of nature as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. He also incarnates as empowered living entities like Prithu and Vyas. The Supersoul is his localized incarnation, and his all-pervasive aspect is the impersonal Brahman. When we consider impartially all the unlimited pastimes of the Lord, we find that his pastimes as a human being on this planet, wherein he sports as a cowherd boy with a flute in his hands and appears youthful and fresh like a ballet dancer, are pastimes and features that are never subjected to material laws and inebrieties. The wonderful beauty of Krishna is presented in the supreme planet, Gokula, Goloka Vrindavan. Inferior to that is his representation in the spiritual sky, and inferior to that is his representation in the external energy, Devi Dham. A mere drop of Krishna's sweetness can drown these 3 worlds, Goloka, Vrindavan, Haridham, Vaikuntha Loka, and Devidam, the material world. Everywhere, Krishna's beauty merges everyone in the ecstasy of transcendental bliss. Actually, the activities of Yogamaya are absent in the spiritual world and the Vaikuntha planets. She simply works in the supreme planet, Goloka Vrindavan, and she works to manifest the activities of Krishna when he descends to the material universe to please his innumerable devotees within the material world. This is a replica of the Goloka Vrindavan planet, and the pastimes there is manifested on this planet on a specific tract of land, Boma Vrindavan, the Vrindavan Dham on this planet. Text 105. Okay, this is okay. It's all right. Text 105. Ornaments caress that body, but the transcendental body of Krishna is so beautiful that it beautifies the ornaments he wears. Therefore, Krishna's body is said to be the ornament of ornaments. Enhancing the wonderful beauty of Krishna is his three-curved style of standing. Above all these beautiful features, Krishna's eyes dance and move obliquely, acting like arrows to pierce the minds of Srimati Radharani and the gopis. When the arrow succeeds in hitting its target, their minds become agitated. Text 106. The beauty of Krishna's body is so attractive. Now mind you, this is Lord Chaitanya is in ecstasy now, and he's quoting all these verses describing Krishna's form. The beauty of Krishna's body is so attractive that it attracts not only the demigods and other living entities within this material world, but the personalities of the spiritual sky as well, including the Narayanas, who are expansions of Krishna's personality. The minds of the Narayanas are thus attracted by the beauty of Krishna's body. In addition, the goddesses of fortune, Lakshmis, who were the wives of the Narayanas, and are the women described in the Vedas as most chaste, are also attracted by the wonderful beauty of Krishna. 107. Favoring the gopis, Krishna rides on the chariots of their minds, and just to receive loving service from them, he attracts their minds like Cupid. Therefore he is also called Madana Mohan, the attractor of Cupid. Cupid has 5 arrows representing form, taste, smell, touch, and sound. Krishna is the owner of these 5 arrows, and with his Cupid-like beauty, he conquers the minds of the gopis, though they are very proud of their super excellent beauty. Becoming a new Cupid, Krishna attracts their minds and engages in the rasa dance. 108. When Lord Krishna wanders in the forest of Vrindavan with his friends on an equal level, there are innumerable cows grazing. This is another of the Lord's blissful enjoyments. When he plays on his flute, all living entities, including trees, plants, animals, and human beings, tremble and are saturated with jubilation. Tears flow constantly from their eyes. Text 109. Krishna wears a pearl necklace that appears like a chain of white herons around his neck. The peacock feather in his hair appears like a rainbow, and his yellow garments appear like lightning in the sky. Krishna appears like a newly risen cloud, and the gopis appear like newly grown grains in the field. Constant rains of nectarian pastimes fall upon these newly grown grains, and it seems that the gopis are receiving beams of life from Krishna, exactly as grains receive life from the rains. 110. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is full in all 6 opulences, including his attractive beauty, which engages him in conjugal love with the gopis. Such sweetness is the quintessence of his qualities. Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, has described these pastimes of Krishna throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing the descriptions, the devotees become mad with love of God. Text 11. Just as the women of Mathura ecstatically described the fortune of the gopis of Vrindavan and the transcendental qualities of Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the different mellows of Krishna and became overwhelmed with ecstatic love. Grasping the hand of Sanatana Goswami, he recited the following verse. What austerities must the gopis have performed? With their eyes they always drink the nectar of the form of Lord Krishna, which is the essence of loveliness and is not to be equaled or surpassed. That form is the only abode of beauty, fame, and opulence. It is self-perfect, ever fresh, and unique. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:44-14 was spoken by the women of Mathura when they saw Krishna in the wrestling arena. Text 113. The bodily beauty of Sri Krishna is like a wave in the ocean of eternal youth. In that great ocean is the whirlpool of the awakening of ecstatic love. The vibration of Krishna's flute is like a whirlwind, and the flickering minds of the gopis are like straws and dry leaves. After they fall down in the whirlwind, they never rise again, but remain eternally at the lotus feet of Krishna. 114. Oh, my dear friend, what severe austerities have the gopis performed to drink his transcendental beauty and sweetness through their eyes in complete fulfillment. Thus they glorify their births, bodies, and minds. Text 15. The sweetness of Krishna's beauty enjoyed by the gopis is unparalleled. Nothing is equal to or greater than such ecstatic sweetness. Even the predominating deities of the Vaikuntha planets, the Narayanas, do not possess such sweetness. Indeed, none of the incarnations of Krishna, up to Narayana, possess such transcendental beauty. 116. The vivid example in this regard is that the dearest consort of Narayana, the goddess of fortune, who was worshipped by all chaste women, gave up everything in her desire to enjoy Krishna, being captivated by his unparalleled sweetness. Thus she took a great vow and underwent severe austerities. And I'll stop there. It's 8 o'clock. This is very rich and not easy to digest a lot at one time. So we'll stop here for tonight and call for reflections, anything that stood out in your mind, important things.
From Doctors Partha Sumitra Roy.
Oh. Hare Krishna, my dear doctors.
Hare Krishna Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Next is a comment from Noel.
Bhakti Noel, Hare Krishna.
She says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. I am here for the daily expansion of my consciousness. I am grateful for you and these transcendental readings today and every day. Your servant, Bhakti.
Hare Krishna, that's very nicely said, and it's a fact. I mean, when we heard the distance of the circumference of the smallest universe, we can understand we don't really have much capabilities to understand anything. And that's the purpose of these amazing descriptions. But then from that we went to Krishna's form and pastimes, especially his form now is being described. And it's inconceivable. Therefore Jiva Goswami says in his Sandarbhas that unless you actually accept achintya, the concept of achintya, that Krishna is actually inconceivable. And if you actually accept that, then you will accept these things in a way that will just enliven you like anything. Okay, sorry. Hare Krishna, I got a little carried away. Go ahead.
Rati Manjari says, Jai Guru Maharaj, back into the fortunate assembly.
Yes. Exactly. Well said. Well said.
This is from Attila.
Hare Krishna, Attila.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for today's teaching. It is a gift in this desert. Haribol.
Yes, it is the sukhor. Hare Krishna.
Next is Sudevi Dasi.
Mm.
She says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai Sudevi Dasi.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada. I notice the more I hear, the better my focus becomes. Like a groggy person that just woke up and needed some time to awaken.
Yes.
I am more and more interested, and I will not fall asleep listening.
Good.
Haribol.
Thank you so much.
From Tarun Krishna.
Tarun, Haribol.
He says, so good to hear from you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
From Dharani Dara Das.
Just to know that all these devotees are out there is so ecstatic. Haribol.
Dharani Dara Das.
Dharani Dara Das.
He sends an Om emoji.
He sends an Om emoji. Okay.
And Salani Sachi Sundari says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine service. Thank you for narrating this nectar.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, everybody. And it's inconceivable, but every time I hear this, it's like I'm hearing it for the first time. And I believe fully, all of it, without doubt. Hare Krishna. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Looks like we got something else going on.
It just came up.
Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. There's one more. Go ahead.
Noel says, yes, I appreciated the circumference of the universe and also beyond comprehension for me. Also in 21:112, when speaking of the gopis, and they drink the nectar of the form of Lord Krishna, which is the essence of loveliness and is not to be equaled or surpassed. It was just so vivid today.
Yes.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. So,
The comment just came from Rati Manjari.
okay, Rati, you get the last word. That's it. After this, I'm finished. Go ahead.
She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances. I have been fortunate to be under your loving guidance since several years now, but I must say that tonight was one of the loveliest and most amazing readings I have heard. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the subject matter. It has to do with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealing his mind to Sanatana Goswami. If we just try to grasp how fortunate we are to be able to hear these things, the intimate instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, which form the basis of Brihat Bhagavatamrita and so many other shastras and commentaries, our good fortune is beyond words. And if we can just feel the gratitude deeply within ourselves and hear with that consciousness, then we will taste more and more. Just go on hearing these books again and again for the rest of your lives, and everything will come. So I'll see you tomorrow night. Same place, same station, same subject matter, right here in the Haven, Hive, Kent, of all places. This little place, this little spot on the planet, which is a speck in the universe. But here we are, hearing the glories of the Lord. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.